Racism and discrimination is a daily experience of those who are melanated. We have to worry whether or not our hair is professional enough, whether or not we're speaking eloquently enough, if our loved ones are going to return home after going out into the community, whether or not we'll survive a traffic stop. These are just some examples of the safety threats that are experienced because of racism and discrimination. My name is Worsham, and I am your host for Mind Over Matter. Today we will be discussing historical trauma, which is a concept that helps us understand the distress and oppression that results from a European colonization of several nations of people. We'll discuss the 4 different components of historical trauma, and in this video I'll give you examples of the first 2 components. You'll need to check out the second video in order to learn about the following 2.
Mind over matter.
Today we are discussing historical trauma from the perspective of the community known as African Americans or Black Americans. The colonial injury that these individuals have experienced is something called denaturalization, in which they were stripped of their quality of character of belonging to a nation. They were stripped of their language, their flag, their culture, etc. Next, we have the collective experience. Recall that the collective experience describes the impact of colonial injury has on the identities and relationships of the group who has experienced the colonial injury. Now, denaturalization stripped ones of their culture and of their quality of character of belonging to a nation. And with that, it also stripped them of love for themselves. So now we see examples that look like light skin versus dark skin, nappy head versus good hair. We have other examples that include our families being broken up by the incarceration system, the DCFS or child welfare systems coming into the community and taking the children on an alarming rate. These are just some small examples of how the relationships are impacted and identities are impacted. Oftentimes it looks like internalized hatred. The third component is called the cumulative effects. The cumulative effects describes the impact of all the policies, practices that are impacting the individuals and help to perpetuate the colonial injury. And fourth is the cross-generational transmission of risks and vulnerabilities. While historical trauma is a horrific situation and condition, we can still heal. I need you to know that. So here are 3 simple steps you can begin taking today to begin healing your relationships. Number 1, be patient with yourself and with others. All too often, the biggest challenge that happens in communication is a simple misunderstanding in the reason, the intent, and the purpose behind the communication. Number 2, seek to understand that other person's perspectives, their thoughts, and their emotions while having patience with yourself and also recognizing your own. Number 3, make sure you notice your stress response system. Having conversations that have differences of opinions or that are really challenging to be had can have really big impacts on our own stress response system. So it's very important that you pay attention to what's coming up for you. Are you getting defensive? Are you getting hot? Is your heart beginning to race? These are just some small cues that might happen to tell you that your stress response system is on. You can watch our other videos to learn how to turn them off, or by simply taking a deep breath or doing some other techniques in some of our other Mind Over Matter vlogs. Thank you for joining me today on Mind Over Matter. My name is Worsham L. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you are aware of when our second video drops on historical trauma. Thanks for joining me.